I mean, Kagan admits she's a socialist. I mean, and then Chris Matthews praises in his book and publicly Saul Alinsky and Lenin. But then if you say the government's socialist, he says you're a racist. I mean, these people know exactly what they're doing. I want to look at the audience who's watching on PrisonPlanet.tv and listening via AM, FM, shortwave, satellite, XM, later on YouTube, at PrisonPlanet.tv later. However you're watching, I want to look at you and I want to say something. They've got national TV specials coming out demonizing Chuck Baldwin, Ron Paul, myself. They've got Pentagon and other government reports, state police, federal dossiers. The Canadian police have them on us saying we're the enemy. Just little old Pastor Chuck Baldwin, little old talk show host Alex Jones, little old Dr. Ron Paul. Why are they scared? They're scared because we know who they are. We can see who they are. And they can see us exponentially reaching new people and the public waking up. And as the darkness falls, they want to confiscate our candles because our little lights are getting brighter and brighter, not because we're getting brighter, but because the darkness is falling. They want to shut the web down. They want to stop free speech. The curtain's falling now. You have got to use the internet and videos and books and materials and donate and spread the word like your life depends on it and like the country's life depends on it now. We do not have time because the information you have and that we have and all of us have together is so powerful that before we're hubris-filled and just trying to demonize us and ignore us, now they just want to shut us off. And it's because they're hemorrhaging to death. They have gambled to go for it all, and we can grab victory, out of the jaws of defeat or victory from the jaws of defeat now. But please appreciate these shows, appreciate the websites, appreciate the info now because Chuck, can you make it any simpler than I am or boil it down?
No. Doing a pretty good job, Alex. Exactly right. The American people have got to decide, what they want for their children and for their future. If they are just willing to have the shackles put around their necks and glibly go on into slavery and tyranny, let their children be raised in a tyrannical state, well, then so be it. Make your choice. But for people that love freedom and love liberty and really do want their children to grow up in a land of freedom, it's going to be up to us right now to fight for it, as you said. And I think that we've got to spend our money according to our convictions. We've got to support those individuals and those institutions that are out on the front lines. We can't do it by ourselves. None of us are able to do it by ourselves. None of us are independently wealthy. All of us are scratching for survival when it comes to paying the bills. And if people out there are going to have an impact on their country, they've got to dig down and they've got to support those institutions and those people that are on the front lines fighting for their freedom. And if we're not willing to do that, Alex, quite frankly, then it's gone. I mean, we're to the point now where this thing is getting close to the curtain coming down, and I know you know that, and I know a lot of your listeners know that, but I've just got to say that we are getting close. I mean, this thing is escalating exponentially in a way that I, quite frankly, am a little surprised at. I mean, I knew it was going to grow. I knew it was going to escalate. I had no idea it was going to be this fast. And let's face it, this is not just Barack Obama. We had the same thing going on with Bush. We had the same thing going on with Clinton.
But now it's at rocket power. But I mean, now it's at. I agree with you though. I'm amazed at how fast it's moving. And you've got Sarah Palin now out in Human Events targeting real Tea Party candidates. You've got targeting Ron Paul type candidates. Even though she endorsed Rand, she's showing her colors there. The whole system is getting more and more desperate. But now is the time to throw it all on the line, folks. Now is the time to come to the aid of your country. America's never been perfect, but it's a Christian nation. It's been the best in the world, the wealthiest because of the blessings of liberty that God gave us because we did do the right thing. And that engine of freedom is dying, and the choice is being made now. You better be at your city councils, your county commissioners, your water districts talking about this. You better be at the State House. You better be calling to talk radio. You had better not wait to start an organization. You better get out there now and point at this tyranny for what it is and point out this is illegal and wrong. And we had better point out that it is both parties, like Chuck Baldwin said, but under Obama, Chuck, hasn't it gone into overdrive?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's gone into overdrive, no doubt about it. But that's because the foundation was already laid. I mean, I predicted this back in the Bush years. I said that, you know, if Obama's elected, he is just going to expedite everything that's already been laid and put in place. I mean, Bush just laid the table for him. And of course, Clinton did before that. And now that he's got the Congress, he being Obama, he's got the Congress, they're able to implement these things that were put in place back during the Bush years. But it's just exploding. You know, we got the oil thing, which is such a distraction to other things that are going on. I mean, this is not a serious thing down here. I live on the Gulf Coast. We're dealing with what's going on down here with that, you know, up close and personal. So I know what's going on. But there are some other things that are happening that the American people are not seeing, and the national news media is not telling us, things that you talk about all the time on your show, Alex. And if the American people don't rise up now to resist the spirit of resistance, Thomas Jefferson talked about.
Stay there. Come back and tell us about the spirit of resistance and the issues the oil spill is overshadowing. Chuck Baldwin's our guest. Stay with us. From deep behind enemy lines in occupied USA, we want America back. We're the good guys. Globalists are the bad guys. Choose sides. Chuck Baldwin, we got a headline up at prisonplanet.com. Obama wants the oil spill crisis to get worse. He's been under massive pressure to let the oil skimmers in. Now he says he might in the next month because the hurricanes are already there to blow in more oil. Give us your brief take on that, given the whole history of it. I was talking to you in the break. You think there's sabotage.
I think Obama and the administration knew about the problems that the BP well had as early as January and February of this year. I think they deliberately did nothing in order to exacerbate the problem. I personally believe, at least let's just put it this way, I suspect sabotage. I suspect that Halliburton and the Bush-Clinton crime cabal is behind a lot of this. BP is going to go bankrupt over this, and it's not an accident that it was a BP oil well that was targeted, because there is a major rift going on right now between the higher level officials in Great Britain and the Bush-Clinton crime syndicate.
Yeah, for those that don't know, it's on record with CIA officer Terry Reid and others that Bush and Clinton actually worked together. That's all a staged event. Shifting gears, what else, in your view, is the oil spill distracting from? I think it's from the healthcare takeover that's happening.
Well, obviously they want to use it to pass the cap-and-trade energy monstrosity. But I think what it's overlooking is, Alex, there's probably $6 trillion. And I know we throw these numbers around and nobody can calculate that high, but we're talking $6 trillion that's hanging around out there that the British government, or I should say the British bankers, believe has been stolen from them. And whenever this well went up and all of the pressure now that's placed upon BP and probably going to go bankrupt, and what that's going to do throughout Britain and Europe, I believe this was a signal by the people that stole that money to say, leave us alone. There are things here going on, Alex, that I believe that are so criminal, that are so evil, that are so sinister, that the American people know nothing about, and the American media especially is not going to tell us anything that we need to know. But there are things going on behind the scenes here that this oil well is a diversion, or maybe we could even say a warning.
Well, I mean, take the Federal Reserve reorganization that even the Washington Post admits gives them unlimited power over all financial institutions and things that affect the economy. In Andrew Napolitano's words, this is a total seizure of the economy. So the Federal Reserve engineers the banking collapse. Now they get even more power. I mean, it's all happening right now. Byrd dying, it has sabotaged that, at least for the next few weeks. That's actually a gift from God. I'm not glad he's dead, but that screwed up the passage of it. But, I mean, this is amazing. So it's all happening at once.
It is, and it's all happening, I think, in a coordinated effort. I do not believe that these things are isolated instances. I just don't believe that. These things are too big, they are too coincidental, and the ramifications are too monstrous to suggest that this is not something but a design behind it. And I think that's exactly what's going on. And I think that's all related to some of what I'm talking about here today and some of the things that you're talking about. Obviously, they're not going to ever let a crisis go without using it to
Absolutely.
their advantage.
Chuck Baldwin, author, the presidential candidate, and so much more. Give us your website.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alex. It's chuckbaldwinlive.com.
ChuckBaldwinLive.com. ChuckBaldwinLive.com. Ours are Infowars.com. ChuckBaldwinLive.com. I break down everything that happened in retransmission. Chuck Baldwin will talk to you again soon. Got Ron Paul on tomorrow. Pray for Ron Paul. Pray for all of us. The enemy is coming out to persecute us. That story's up on PrisonPlanet.com.